What I love is the cooperation against hard systems, learning enemies, understanding mechanics, figuring out things together. And Arc Raiders does so many of those things incredibly well. But lately, I don't even feel like looting half the time. Not because loot doesn't matter, but because looting feeds a loop that I don't actually want to be in.
So why PvE players are leaving Arc Raiders? So apparently, guys, there is a epidemic going on within Arc Raiders where some PvE players are just like, yo, I'm out of here. Now, your boy doesn't know what's up, okay? I seen a video jumping around online explaining what is going on, and it seems to be popping off. So we're going to react to it today and see what's going on under the hood with Arc Raiders and the player base itself. Now, if you've been having fun with Arc Raiders, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you honestly, in your heart, feel like there's truly a PvE issue, sound off down below, baby. I gotta hear from the community. I gotta see what's going on with Arc Raiders right now. And you already know this community I'm really relying on to hear what's really happening in the world of Arc Raiders. I have a lot of Arc Raiders fans on this channel, and you guys know what's going on. So please sound off and let your boy know what's up. So if you've been enjoying the video so far, make sure that you give it a big like. And if you care to stay up to date with all the latest shooter news and updates and conversations such as this, consider subscribing to the channel today. Now back to the video. So the name of this creator is Altface, and the title of his video is Why Arc Raiders is Losing PvE Focused Players, and it's not gear fear. With that said, folks, let's hop into it.
I want to be really clear before we start. I like Arc Raiders. I love the weapons, the physics, the world, the Arc themselves, but after reset, I found myself logging in and then logging right back out. And it's not because I'm scared of losing gear. I'm a PvE first player, always have been. In Destiny 2, I avoided PvP by choice. In the Division 2, I rarely touched it. What I love is the cooperation against hard systems, learning enemies, understanding mechanics, figuring out things together. And Arc Raiders does so many of those things incredibly well. But lately, I don't even feel like looting half the time. Not because loot doesn't matter, but because looting feeds a loop that I don't actually want to be in.
Whoa. Where is he getting at, ladies and gentlemen? Where is this man going with this one? Let's listen on. Whoa.
I don't queue up excited to see what happens next. I queue up wondering whether the next 30 minutes will be spent doing things I enjoy or managing something I don't. There's a reason this feels off, and I didn't have a language for it at first. But it comes down to motivation. My motivation is PvE mastery. The game's primary pressure right now is PvP threat. When those don't line up, your brain starts doing a quiet calculation before you even drop in. Is this worth my time right now? When the answer keeps being maybe, you don't rage quit. You just play less. There's another layer to it. I don't feel tired after a raid. I feel tired before starting one. That's not fear of loss. It's the feeling that I might spend limited time doing something that's counter to why I logged in at all. That's when the loot stops feeling exciting.
So this is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So on the basis of what my man Altface is saying here, he's saying that he really enjoys the PvE aspect so much that he doesn't really indulge in anything else outside of that. And I guess his gripe is that he doesn't get to do enough of that in each session to warrant him to just play on. It's like really fucking with him mentally, because he found an aspect of Arc Raiders that he actually enjoys thoroughly, and he feels like that's the lesser part that he's able to play safely. Like, either most people are loot goblins in the game, right? And very much questing on that front, trying to find gear items and do the quest in the game themselves, right? or you have PvP players that just like try to find those battles and skirmishes amongst other players, right? Versing other people, essentially, right? Then you have this guy that's in a unique position where he only wants to do PvE. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you play Arc Raiders how the fuck you want to play Arc Raiders, people. Please, there's no right or wrong answer. But it's interesting that this is coming to a head for him, and it's kind of like making him fall back. Do you guys feel like this? Do any of you feel like this? And again, this isn't inherently bad or good. Like, there's no right or wrong here. But do you guys feel like how Altface is feeling? Is there a demographic of people that are feeling how this man's feeling? I would love to know, because this is a interesting take. First time I ever heard anything like this. Really interesting.
I think there's an assumption that without constant PvP pressure, PvE becomes boring. And I don't think that's true. Sometimes PvP feels like added depth, more like a substitute for deeper, more epic PvE encounters. PvP is an easy source of unpredictability. Truly great PvE takes more work. I've never even played Helldivers 2, but the idea behind it keeps coming up in my head. More enemies, bigger threats, map-wide chaos that naturally pushes players together. Not forced cooperation, earned cooperation. Chaos turns strangers into teammates.
That's an interesting perspective there. So he's saying, okay, essentially you could make like a Helldivers type experience that's more PvE focused, right? For Arc Raiders, if you up the arc count and just add more elements of threats in the field, right? But I don't think that's what the devs are going for, right? I don't think that's what they're shooting for at all. Because again, essentially, you already have Helldivers in the wild. Why would we go down that route again, right? It's like, if you have Helldivers and these folks have mastered what they're doing, right? And they're really, really good at it. Why go down the route of like trying to fiddle with anything of that nature? I would think that's inherently incorrect for Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is unique unto itself because for what it does with the dynamic of real players, AI, and just the environment and quest and things that you got to do itself, all of it mashing together to make something truly special, in my opinion. To go down that route of like providing a Helldivers experience would actually be backwards. Right. But according to my man here, this could be bad. This could be bad for the experience, because if you're in a bind like he is for a specific PvE lure of the game, right? The PvE pull of the game, which is cool. All this falls short, right? He's finding himself playing less. This is a crazy dilemma to be in.
I don't think the developers are wrong. I just think they are assuming a single type of player psychology. For players like me, PvE doesn't add excitement. It adds friction. I still want Arc Raiders to succeed. I just hope it finds a way to let PvE stand on its own. If you're playing less after reset and couldn't quite explain why, I'm curious if this resonates with you too.
I don't know. After hearing Altface's gripes here, I think he's incorrect here. I think that the devs have spent a lot of time nailing this feel for Arc Raiders, right? Okay, I feel like they put in enough time and enough diligence, like they did enough research to strike that fine balance of fun in that PvE experience that's just enough to like make a healthy balance overall. I don't feel like these guys need to tweak anything or lean into one aspect of the game versus another. Now, it's their choice. It's their liberty to do so, but I don't feel like it's necessary on this front with Arc Raiders. I feel like the game's doing just fine, and I feel like it's fun already. We have a solid base, and we should keep it that way.